The history of Turkey in 10 minutes.
I'm sure they're going to tell us the entire history of Turkey in 10 minutes, right?
Every single thing from the Hittites and Troy, everything, all the way up.
Yeah, and they're never going to miss anything, right?
No. It'll probably start at Turkey, like when Turkey became Turkey.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, but let's do it. Here we go.
The history of Turkey. From this title, we can understand as the period between the formation of the Republic in the 29th of October 1923 and the present days, or the period of Ottoman and Turkic beyliks. But we are going to refer to the entire period of known history of this land.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
we're going way back then.
It is going to go all the way. Holy. How are they going to do that much in 10 minutes? This is like a key area in the entirety of Mediterranean history.
A lot of stuff has happened in the lands of Turkey.
What the
The
heck?
history of the region now forming the territory of not only the Republic of Turkey, but also Anatolia. The earliest representations of culture in Anatolia were some Stone Age artifacts. Due to its strategic location at the intersection of Asia and Europe, Anatolia has been an important place of several civilizations since prehistoric times. At the start of the Bronze Age, metallurgy spread to Anatolia from Transcaucasian cultures in the late 4th millennium BCE, and it slowly entered in the sphere of influence of the Akkadian Empire. Many civilizations existed here. Speaking about one, the Hittite civilization was a member of an ancient Indo-European people who appeared in Anatolia at the beginning of the 2nd millennium BCE. By 1340 BCE, they had become one of the dominant powers in the Middle East.
It's crazy. I've watched videos history of the entire world, or the history of mankind. So much of the early history of mankind is right in this area.
Yeah, so it would be so interesting. I'm sure the climate was probably a little bit different back then. I wonder what was different, because these areas here are completely different now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. It's so interesting just how much history has happened in Anatolia.
Of Bronze Age civilizations such as the Haitian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Hittite peoples provide us with many examples of the daily lives of its citizens and their trade. After the fall of the Hittites, the new state of Phrygia and Lydia stood strong on the western coast as Greek civilization began to flourish. They and all the rest of Anatolia were relatively soon incorporated into the Persian Empire. More from the east, a new power emerged. Persia grew in power more and more and influenced the lands of the west, expanding in Anatolia. Their system of local government in Anatolia allowed many cities and ports to grow and to become wealthy because of the influx of trade and road networks between the east and west. The region of Anatolia got divided into various regions, satrapies, ruled by satraps.
That's one of the dang Civ things, the mausoleum of Hardiconnassus.
Yeah. I was wondering why it sounded familiar, and
one of the ancient wonders of the world.
Appointed by the Central Persian rulers. In the earliest 5th century BC, some of the Ionian cities under Persian rule revolted, which culminated into the Ionian Revolt. This revolt, after being easily suppressed by the Persians, led to the popular Greco-Persian Wars, one of the most known and crucial wars from the ancient history.
Sparta?
This Greco-Persian
with a
war
D over
led
there?
to more conflicts in the Greek peninsula. Fights for power and influence happened, and a revenge sentiment mixed with good leaderships led to the growth of Macedonian kingdom under Philip II and his son, Alexander the Great, who gained control of the whole region and conquered Persia in successive battles. From this point, Anatolia was more and more influenced by the Hellenic world. After Alexander's death, his conquests were split amongst several of his trusted generals. The Seleucid Empire, the largest of Alexander's territories, and which included Anatolia, became involved in wars with Rome more years later. The rise of Rome was felt across the Mediterranean basin. The control of Anatolia was strengthened by Rome, allowing local control to govern effectively and provide military protection, expanding deep into Anatolian territory. The territory here developed in Roman times.
It's weird that the Roman map is so interesting. They didn't take this. I believe this is Thracia at that time period, and they just didn't take it over.
It's all super coastal. Even the map they showed previously, they just little slivers they might just have in a random area,
Yeah.
like the Balkans or something.
It's probably at that time it might have been what they got after the Peloponnesian War, or not Peloponnesian War. The war with Carthage. What the heck? Why can't I think of what that? Punic War. Both with a P.
Anatolian territory. The territory here developed in Roman times. Due to the rise of instability in the empire and the permanent raids from foreign invaders in the 4th century AD, the Emperor Constantine the Great established a new administrative center at the city of Byzantium, called Constantinople after his name. And by the end of the 4th century, the Roman Empire split into 2 parts.
Can you imagine deciding to name the great city of your entire empire after your dang name?
Speaking of these people, Alexander the Great, he had like a million dang Alexandrias
Yeah.
all over the
There's
place.
still tons that exist today.
The western part with Rome as its capital, and the eastern
I
part
mean, if you want to be a leader, you got to have an ego, am I
Yeah,
right?
you gotta have a massive ego.
Constantinople as its capital, an empire referred to by historians as the Byzantine Empire. The process of Hellenization.
It is interesting that historians kind of like, they break it between Rome and Byzantium, but the people of Byzantium like consider themselves the continuation of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
But it's weird that they would do that. Why not just call it Rome?
Yeah, it is very, very, very interesting.
And with Alexander's conquest, accelerated under Roman rule, and the ancient Greek language and culture was predominant in the region. Turkic peoples and related groups migrated west from Turkestan and what is now Mongolia towards Eastern Europe, Iranian Plateau, and Anatolia. The Seljuk Turkmens created a medieval empire that controlled a vast area, stretching from the Hindu Kush to eastern Anatolia, and from Central Asia to the Persian Gulf. Many wars, the emerging of new empires, migrations, raids, and the incompetence of some leaders created the slow process of the Byzantine decline throughout time. Their decline and the growing power of the Seljuks led to conflicts and to the famous Battle of Manzikert on 26th of August, 1071, which is believed to be the open gate for the Turkic people, which will come in Anatolia in the next decades and centuries. This important battle was fought between the Byzantine Empire and the Seljuk Empire near Manzikert. The defeat of the Byzantine Empire and the capture of their emperor Romanos Diogenes IV is an important chapter in the history of Anatolia and in the history of what will be known as the Ottoman Empire and the Republic of Turkey.
So interesting that we like don't learn in school in the US, we don't learn about the Seljuk Empire.
No, and like it's saying that was the Turkic people, like now, like seeing this, like it kind of explains why you have like some of Central Asian people speak Turkic languages, because it's saying that some of the people came over down there and then eventually come up into Turkey.
Why did so many like people come from like the Mongolia area?
Yeah,
Like when he said coming over from Mongolia, I was like, oh, is it the Mongols already? But no, it was the Seljuk Turks.
That is so interesting. Like, yeah, they must not really like that area much.
It's too flat and not enough. There's barely anybody living in Mongolia now, but so many people's ancestors are from that area.
The Sultanate of Rum seceded from the Great Seljuk Empire,
Rum.
and they
Never heard of
ruled
that
central Anatolia. As the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum started to crumble, many other smaller regions emerged, ruled by different leaders. These small
Whoa.
kingdoms were called beyliks.
My gosh, Byzantium.
One of them was ruled by Osman, which will be known as Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. It's believed that Osman's early followers consisted both of Turkish tribal groups and Byzantine renegades, but not all were Muslims. It is not known for sure how this beylik started to dominate the region, but one thing was sure: the Byzantine Empire was very vulnerable. The new empire expanded into Europe, defeating local leaders and taking profit from the instability of the region. By the year 1400, the Ottomans were a true power, having control of much of the Balkans
Constantinople,
and
Could
Western
you
few
Europe.
islands.
Can you imagine how scary it would be to live there?
Oh my gosh, you're just surrounded.
Oh man.
Anatolia. The collapse of Constantinople in the year of 1453 and the end of the last vestiges of the Roman Empire consolidated their power and their notoriety for the next centuries, in which the empire will expand even further, reaching its peak in the 16th and 17th
Wow,
centuries.
that's far into Europe.
Inflation's
Yeah.
lost battles.
And that explains why like some of these places are Muslim still to
Yeah.
this day, have some Muslim influence.
Albania, Bosnia, a lot of those places.
Defeats against the
There's a lot of religious wars going on in this
Yeah,
area.
Lots of people mixing together.
Yeah.
Russians and the Habsburgs, and some crisis and rebellions marked the decline of the Ottomans. The start of the 19th century was marked by national movements. Many people from different ethnicities lived in different empires
And
or
there you
administrative
see the outline of
forms, and
Bosnia.
rebellions
Yeah.
started to happen. The Serbian Revolution, 1804 to
Oh wow, yeah, Croatia got it early. Look at that, just down the coast. Dang.
1815, marked the beginning of an era of national awakening. Also, even some Arabs, led by the Al-Saud family, revolted against the Ottomans. In 1821, the Greeks declared war on the Sultan, achieving independence. In 1830, the French invaded Algeria, which was lost to the empire. In 1831, Muhammad Ali revolted and created a civil
Muhammad
war
Ali?
with the aim of making himself sultan. As we can see, the Ottoman experienced huge instability, marked by defeats, bad administration, revolts, and national movements across the empire, due to its overextensions on lands with different peoples and cultures. The empire continued in the next years of the 19th century to lose wars and territories, and to fail in the creating of new reforms. The collapse of the empire is a more detailed subject, but if you want to know more about that, we already made a more detailed video about their collapse.
Oh.
At the start of the First World War, the Ottoman Empire was at its final days, joining the Central Powers in the conflict
There's a
after
little
their defeat.
pocket right
Yeah,
here.
what the heck?
Is this a fort or something?
Yeah, it must be. That's so weird.
The empire crumbled, and many of their territories were conceded
they got-
in favor of Greece.
They got cut up like Germany and
Wow.
like all those countries did after World War II.
That's so crazy that after the wars, just the winning countries were just like, all right, here, I'll take this, you take this, yeah, you have this.
They still have the colonial mindset back then.
Italy, Britain, and France. This loss created the start of the Turkish national movement, which will be known as the Turkish War of Independence, led by Mustafa Kemal. By September 18th, 1922, the occupying armies were expelled. On November 1st, the newly founded parliament formally abolished the Sultanate, thus ending 623 years of Ottoman
more
rule.
familiar to
The
me.
Treaty
It
of
does.
Lausanne of July 24th, 1923, led to the international recognition of the sovereignty of the newly formed Republic of Turkey
Wow.
as the successor state of the Ottoman Empire, and the Republic was officially proclaimed on October 29th, 1923, in the new capital of Ankara. Mustafa Kemal became the Republic's first president of Turkey, and subsequently introduced many radical reforms. More rights for women were established, a new writing system in the Latin alphabet for the Turkish language was created, and many others. Turkey was neutral in World War II, and they refused German requests to allow troops access to its borders into Syria or the USSR. Due to the growing tensions of the Cold War, the US guaranteed the security of Turkey and Greece. Turkey joined NATO in 1952, an important member, especially due to its geographic position at the border with USSR. On the island of Cyprus, instability and conflict started to exist, and a military coup of July 1974, overthrowing President Makarios and installing Nico Samson as a dictator. Turkey invaded the Cyprus in 1974. Later, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus was established, but just Turkey recognizes it. The single-party period was followed by multi-party democracy after 1945. The Turkish democracy was interrupted by internal problems and by military coups in 1960, 1971, and 1980.
Dang military
That's
coup.
a lot
With
of
the
military
liberalization
coups.
of the Turkish economy during the 1980s, the country has enjoyed stronger economic growth and greater political stability. Also, a boom in population happened in this country, growing from 17 million people in the
Wow.
1930s
Wow,
to over
that's a
80
lot.
million today. We know that there's more to discuss about this topic, and we will cover more details in future episodes about the history of the Turkish people in Anatolia. So be sure to
Seems like a
subscribe
pretty
to our
good,
channel to receive more interesting animated episodes about our history.
Turkey, like comprehensive history with like fitting as much of the history of the land in 10 minutes as they could.
Once it actually turned into Turkey, it was like, yeah, this happened, and there's some coups, and there's a lot more people now, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I kind of like abruptly went quicker.
It's cool to see like all the different empires that occupied the area and how all the lands shifted throughout history. It just, obviously it's just a 10-minute video. It'd be cool if this video was 4 hours and it was just like a timeline where you could see it all shift slowly.
Yeah, it explains a little bit more like the reasons why certain ethnic people are in certain places and why they follow whatever religion, whatever this, that.
It's very interesting. It just kind of jumped from like it was Byzantium, and then suddenly it was like the Muslims are here.
Yeah.
Like, how did they become Muslim? They came from Mongolia. I'm very intrigued about all of this stuff. So it'd be very cool. If you guys have some other good videos we should check out, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.